I gotta start by saying this arc, I honestly wish was dragged a little longer. Just because I've gotten a much better understanding of characters such as Midnight, Eraserhead, Shirakumo, aka Kurogiri, and Mike, present Mike. And honestly, I gotta say, I would have watched an entire show based on these guys, and it would have been just fine. These guys really, to me, prove that, what we got from them in the main story wasn't enough. You just feel sadder, at least in my case. I feel sadder for now knowing more about the truth in their stories. But nevertheless, I'm going to say this was a very good episode, a very good arc overall. And I'm glad we got it animated, I will say. This gives me a new sense of appreciation for these characters. I think that aside from Shirakumo, Midnight was done the dirtiest. The way they handled her death and her story. Just really heart-wrenching for me personally, for a lot of reasons. But that's no here nor there, so let's go ahead and just get to it, guys. So this episode, it starts off kind of normal, We have a disturbance with this giant monster, and we see that at first President Mike is there trying to handle it with the other guy whose name I can't even remember. But it doesn't work out. But we see that Shota and Shirakumo are kind of doing their patrols. They're just kind of wandering around. They're just walking. The day is nice. They encounter some kids, and we see that they all want to get on the cloud. And one of them almost fell and hurt their head. Luckily, though, Shota paid attention, and he was able to get them from hurting themselves. But this was short-lived because we then see the monster coming out to them, attacking them, and this, of course, is a problem. We actually see them having to evade and just having to deal with this thing, and it starts raining. It's just a very bad situation. We have Prince coming down, trying to help out. It does not work. In fact, he actually gets knocked out based on the way he fell. Like he was just KO'd. And like in the last episode, it looked like he was done, like he was out, like gone, dead. But he was just KO'd. And honestly, he didn't do much. Shirakumo protected the kids from the debris of the building, but then he gets kind of smushed in by all that debris. And so, kids are safe. All that's left is for Shota to do something. He's kind of doubting himself, but he hears the little machine that Shirakumo has that looks like this kind of like a water container looking thing, but it's a speaker, and we see that it gives Shota the motivation to kind of push on, to be able to continue and to do what he has to do. And he does, he's able to kind of, go around, formulate a plan, use his brain to the best of his ability, uses the guy's quirk absorption against him to the point to where he gathers them all up, which was, I think, a genius idea, and throws them into this monster's mouth, taking him out. What was interesting about that, though, was that we saw that the monster also had a, dyed tongue. So, even at their age, which was, many years before the main story, this person or this monster villain, taking the drug that they were having to face and during their present time. I'm not sure, but honestly, I noticed it and I was just like, okay, this is strange. But unfortunately, after the fight, we see that Shirakumo has died. He did lose his life because of all the debris, and he thought that he heard Shirakumo's voice. We have Mike crying, Kayama, aka Midnight, dying, crying, and just both of them just really feeling it. And it was just a lot for these guys. And we see that time passes. Shota wants to do some basically underground work. He doesn't really stay in touch with anybody. He leaves President Mike away, and we see all the hard work he does, and he then realizes that, as he kind of he's with talking to Crawler, that the sun is shining, and after reminiscing and all that, he actually thinks of positives, and he sees that he's surrounded by some people that want to do good, and so he feels good about himself. But he thinks about Shirakumo and all the things he had with him. And so overall, though, it was just a great arc. I just hate that it was short. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you all later.